Don't ask me to talk. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Don't Ask Me to Talk. I am one of your hosts, Stacey Heller.
And I'm the other one, Eric Ryder.
Hey, so every episode we talk about random holidays, topics. Eric often says, what is it? We never found a tangent that we didn't follow.
Something like that.
Yeah. Basically, this is a great show if you've ever wanted to know what it's like to be in the mind of somebody with ADHD and you actually follow the squirrels. And, you know, you're like, oh, like, let me do this. Now, I think we all have a little bit of ADHD, I'd just like to say, because how many times are you trying to get out of your house and you're like, okay, keys, phone, you know, like your bag or whatever you're carrying. And then it's like,
Sure.
shoot, I forgot this. And then you're like, oh, I should open that mail. And then the next thing you know is you're like, oh, there's my new license. I should put that in my wallet. And like, before you know it, like the car is running, the door is open, like your life is halfway in and halfway out. Yeah. Right?
I think that's just called living in the modern world.
Yeah.
At this point.
Well, and that's just it. I mean, I think that's my point a little bit here. Anyway, so hey, that's what we do. See, I'm already off topic. You can actually find past episodes of the show wherever you listen to podcasts. You can follow us on Instagram and on Facebook at Don't Ask Me to Talk. Like, it's very simple. You can also text or call us, leave a voicemail. The number is 475-999-2726. The day I get a message, you will hear about it. Like, it's how I will start the show. Nobody calls, nobody writes.
Right.
So, do you have a special number that you want to?
No, I'm going to, because of this, because people aren't taking advantage of the opportunity to message us, I'm going to give out the correct phone number.
Great.
And we'll leave the catchy portmanteaus of our phone number behind for the time being.
Perfect.
475-999-2726, I think is maybe easier to remember than any of the off-brand naming conventions that we've got available to us, unfortunately.
That's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair. So, hey, the first thing that I feel like I should do is, it is June 13th. It is my anniversary.
Hey, happy anniversary.
Thank you. You know,
Anniversary of what?
my marriage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations anyway.
Are we going to go there again?
No, I'm just teasing, of course.
Yeah, it was a sunny June 13th in 1992.
That's right. You were a June bride.
I was a June bride. Those were the good old days.
Those were the days.
My friend, I thought they'd never end. So happy anniversary, Pete. Not that you're listening, which is why I can get away with so much. It's awesome. But there are other month-long June observations that we should talk about. Which one do you want to start with? There's, so many. There's men's health. How's your health, Eric?
I thought my health was all right, but I recently, I've kind of taken a break, to be honest, from going to the a doctor, or actually it's a registered nurse in my case. That's my primary healthcare provider.
Okay.
And I recently had an appointment for the first time in, I want to say, 2 years. And it seemed like everything was okay, but they did say my cholesterol was too high, which I haven't made the changes that they've recommended in the past because I just love cheese too much. I'm sorry.
Well, it's like a thing to like avoid your health because you don't want to make the changes.
Right. And then, the other thing is that honestly, every time I've had my blood work done over the last 15 years, I've gotten this same note. And it doesn't look like my cholesterol has budged a bit. So I feel like if it was getting worse, then I'd be more concerned. But the fact that it's exactly the same place, just slightly too high, makes me kind of take it with a grain of salt.
So, well, not too much salt.
Right.
Well, it's almost
that
like
part's not a problem.
they need to nag you about something.
Yeah.
So it's like when you go to the dentist and they're like, have you been flossing?
And speaking of that, that was the other thing I had taken a break from. And just today I went to the dentist for the first time in 3 years because my dentist had retired. So I was on the lookout for a new dentist. And I never made that natural connection, like I was gonna bump into a dentist at a bar or something.
Right?
Are you accepting new patients?
Right.
That never happened. So I just broke down and looked on my insurance website on what they the places that accept it, and was just in the dentist this morning for the first time in 3 years, like I said, and turns out bad idea waiting so long because I've got a big cavity that thankfully doesn't hurt, but it will hurt when they go in to take it out. So yeah.
I just went last
Joy of joys.
week. I go every 6 months.
Smart.
Schedule that appointment when you're there. So
yeah,
that,
once you're on that calendar, it's easy to just keep going. But when somebody retires,
right,
it throws a wrench in the works.
That's it.
Same thing with the doctor thing. What happened with that is we changed insurance here, and then I was waiting for the new card, and I didn't know if she was in the same network and all that stuff. And so I was just putting it off. And for whatever reason, my insurance card got lost in the mail. And so I'm just like, okay, well, it'll come eventually. And then when it didn't, then finally, 5 months into the year,
you're like,
I called them and said, yeah, hey, I never got the card. So then they sent me a new one real quick, and I was able to make the appointment. Turns out my provider was in network, but even that was weird because, when I looked online on the insurance company's website of, providers in network in my area, she was 10 pages down.
Holy cow.
And their location is actually maybe a mile from me. So I would have thought they'd be right on top, right?
So did they could you sort them by name, by location?
That's the thing. I couldn't figure that out for a minute. And so then I felt creepy because then I'm trying to use the other sorting tools like gender and, and stuff. And then I'm I feel weird, I gotta be a female doctor. Oh, yeah. If someone's touching daddy, it's gonna be... it's got to be a lady, So then finally I found the search thing where you could put in the name, and it was okay.
There's my person.
There she is, yes. Yeah. Okay, I guess I'm okay.
Sees a female doctor.
It was just luck of the draw for me, but my provider is super nice, so I lucked out in that case.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, so look at you taking care of, you're a man, men's health.
Finally doing that, way overdue, but finally trying to get that done.
So I shouldn't mention that it's Dairy Month because you're a cheese lover.
Well, I think Dairy Month is every month in my case, and that's probably the reason why my cholesterol is so high, which is, again, not life-threatening, it seems, at this point. But they always say, well, we'll watch it. You can make some lifestyle changes, and eventually we'll have to look into medication. And, so I don't want to get to that point. But I do wonder, it seems like it would budge in the upwards direction if it was concerning.
Right.
But But again, we don't give medical advice on this show.
Yeah, by the way.
We're just talking about
the last
our own
person
life.
you want advice from is me, because my doctor's like, hey, you're pre-diabetes. Get your stuff together. So I'm like, awesome.
Right, as I take a big swig of Pepsi over here. The diabetes reminder.
Right.
Yes.
So I'm like, ooh, okay, that's cool. So definitely do not take any health advice from us. Now, back to cheese. What's your favorite cheese? Are you a soft cheese, hard cheese, any cheese?
I'm not really a fan of soft cheese unless it's like cream cheese, I guess.
So no like brie or camembert or anything like
those
that?
gross me out.
Really?
Yeah. Like if it's stinky at all, get it away from me. I don't want to eat anything that smells like foot. But
What kind of cheese are you eating?
well, I'm not eating those cheeses. That's the
But they
point.
don't smell like feet. They don't
You
smell
haven't
like
been
my
to
feet.
France.
Oh, well, all right. I have, by the way, but okay, fair.
But, like a sharp cheddar is amazing, I think. Yeah.
Oh, you're letting your, I looked this up. You're letting your hyperfileness. It's the,
What now?
yeah, exactly. It's the, you know how there's an Anglophile? People that are really into like the UK and whatever. They're like,
Sure.
So there's the version of, because Ireland was called Hibernia,
Mhm.
it's a hibernophile or something.
Okay.
So you're a hibernophile.
Well, cheddar's from England.
I know it is. So you're a over there file.
That could be an Anglophile thing, sure, if that was what factored into it. But I loved cheddar long before I found out that it's a town in England.
Okay, fair. Fine. See, I like a brie. I recently, in the past like 3 or 4 years, I've come to love camembert. It's so good. Yeah, but I'm with you. Like telling me that I can't eat cheese, it's just not gonna.
Right?
It's not gonna happen.
And you know what? Recently, speaking of cheddar, I watched a documentary about, and you'll understand why I clicked on this, Cheddar Man, and I thought like, oh, this is going to be great. Either this is like a superhero a man made out of cheddar with cheddar powers, which I can't even fathom, or he's the guy that invented cheddar or something. This sounds great. Sign me up. Turns out that Cheddar Man was the remains of a caveman that they found in the UK.
Really?
In Cheddar. In Cheddar, yeah, in a cave that is mostly used for tourism. They take tours in this cave, like Shasta Caverns or, some of the other.
Howell's Caverns in New York. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And he was like super well preserved. They just found him because they were doing some remodeling, I guess, in the
caves.
Yeah,
we gotta spruce up the stalactites and the stalagmites.
Right. And so they found him, and they were able to get some of his DNA. So they were able to kind of like figure out what he looked like and everything. And turns out he had like dark skin and blue eyes, and is not really genetically related to the current population of the
Cheddar,
UK.
in that area.
So they think that he was maybe, I think that, don't, quote me on all the fine gritty details, because as soon as I watch something, a lot of those details disappear.
100%. Again, we know a little bit about a lot of things.
But I think they said he was like 10,000 years old, and they think that possibly that wave of people had come across when the UK wasn't even an island.
Wow.
So, yeah. And then later, folks came across and are more related to the current population now. So that was fascinating, but unfortunately, no cheese inside.
What an unfortunate moniker, to go by.
Oh, and in fact, fun fact, the one cheese-related thing is they said that he wouldn't have been able to digest dairy because he didn't have that gene. So how ironic that Cheddar Man couldn't eat cheddar.
That's amazing. That is funny. What? I didn't know it was a gene to be able to.
Yeah. That's some people can't digest cheddar or any dairy because they don't have the gene needed to do it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Interesting. Oh, we learned so much on this show. All right. Do we want to get into holidays that are happening this week?
Well, I think we should take a break and then come right back and get into those holidays.
Let's do it. Okay, keep listening to Don't Ask Me to Talk. I'm not famous or connected or an influencer. I'm Stacey Heller of Stacey Connects, and I love to talk with strangers, friends, and family. So I started a podcast about making connections through conversation, asking questions instead of making assumptions, and addressing the elephant in any room. I also often go on tangents that beg the question, where is she going with this? Stacy Connects is meant to be enlightening and entertaining, or as I like to call it, edutainment. Listen, enjoy, and subscribe to Stacy Connects wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
And we're back on Don't Ask Me to Talk. I'm Eric Ryder.
I'm Stacy Heller.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So, holidays. It is, it's quite a week of holidays, aka it's kind of a bunch of weird holidays. Like you could celebrate National Weed Your Garden Day. How are your blackberries doing, by the way? Didn't you have didn't you fight some blackberries in your yard?
Oh, right.
Couple episodes
Well,
back.
You made it sound like I was cultivating blackberries, but
Yeah, the thornless ones that we're trying to make happen.
Yeah, I would love to have those, but no, I've chopped out most of those, thankfully. But I'm sure they're making a comeback because they're weeds. You know, they're invasive.
Well,
They do what they want. It doesn't matter what you do.
It's like I was doing some weeding actually, apparently prematurely because I was doing it this past weekend, and I should have waited until today. But I found some dead blackberry vines, and even pulling those out,
Yeah,
it hurts. Like
absolutely.
I had on my
yeah.
gloves, and I was using my shears and whatever to like try to pull it out, and very this is my turn to have the little like, why does my arm hurt?
See, this is what I think we need AI for. And when they show those like scary like Boston Robots dogs, nobody needs that. We don't need robot dogs. We don't need AI to, make weird illustrations of people with, way too many fingers. We need a robot to come in and pull weeds and, take out blackberry bushes.
I like that.
Without, our hands getting cut up.
Right.
That's what we need.
And the weird thing is like you get it in your hands, but then above the glove, like, you end up, getting, and I was like, where did this come from? Yeah.
Right.
So, it is also this week, on the 15th, World Juggling Day. Can you juggle?
No, I've never been able to do that. How about yourself?
No. Like, sort of, like, is 3 even juggling? Like,
Yeah.
sort of.
Yeah.
I
it's one of those things where I always thought, hey, that's kind of cool, but I never had the coordination to make it happen. Kind of like the yo-yo thing.
Yep.
Juggling, of course, and like card tricks and like even shuffling cards is for some reason like really hard for me.
That I'm good at, but juggling, I cannot. And I mean, like, there are people that juggle some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
It's
impressive.
also, it is impressive. It's also Father's Day, of course.
That is coming up. Yeah.
So by
Happy
the way,
Father's
folks,
Day, everybody.
Happy Father's Day.
And National Fudge Day on the same day. Wow.
Right.
If your dad likes fudge, 2 bases covered.
Totally. And you can make really easy fudge with like marshmallow fluff or something.
Oh, that sounds good.
There's like a really easy recipe for fudge. So if you're struggling with finances and you're struggling with what to get dad, make him fudge.
Yeah, homemade fudge would be a great gift, I think, for a lot of dads.
Right?
If they've got that dairy gene.
Right.
But
and their cholesterol's not too high.
You can make vegan fudge.
And they're not diabetic. And,
right.
Because it
You
is
can
men's
make
health.
sugar-free. I think fudge is pretty adaptable. So, check with your father's
Dietary
requirements before you commit.
Although, maybe you don't like your dad. Maybe you're trying to kill him. I don't know.
Well, what a sweet way to go.
Exactly. I think it's weird that the 17th is National Take Your Cat to Work Day, and
Right.
then the 19th is Garfield's the Cat Day. I feel like they could have
Combine those two?
maybe.
Bring
But-
your cat to work and feed him some lasagna from the lunchroom?
Right, exactly.
Can
But
you believe there's another Garfield movie? What's
yes.
up with that?
I don't know.
Didn't we just have Garfield movies?
How
And
many have there, like, is it the same group? Is it like Garfield goes to Washington, or is this just another iteration?
What's weird to me is they're calling it Garfield the movie as if there weren't other movies beforehand.
Versus Garfield the comic strip versus Garfield the other movie, and then the other movie.
But it's one of those things where I feel like, am I living in an alternate universe? Because weren't there just like at least a couple Garfield movies?
And like there was like
with Bill Murray in it,
and
right?
like the
Doing
royal,
the voice of Garfield.
The royal one that got like there was like a cat switch or something. It was like the princess.
I didn't
switch.
watch them, but if
I didn't
they're
either,
rebooting this quickly, it's kind of scary.
Like, come on, folks. You know what?
Makes me think next week we're gonna have new hosts taking over this show for the brand new. Don't ask me to talk.
The show.
Yeah.
It's. I feel like if you've ever thought about writing a screenplay or you have some ideas, please submit them because, I mean, come on. And of all the, I don't know, like, is Garfield that beloved?
Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, he was extremely popular. But I don't know about these days. I mean, except for the multiple movies that have come out.
Right.
But the funny thing is, like, Bill Murray did the voice because the guy that did the cartoon voice for Garfield sounded exactly like Bill Murray. In fact, he was kind of doing a Bill Murray impression. So then they wisely got Bill Murray to do the voice,
which
right?
You know that, like, Bill Murray was like, fine, I need to pay for my second house.
Now I think it's Chris Pratt as Garfield. And he doesn't sound anything like Bill Murray. He'd be more
like Opie or whatever the dog's name is. Odie?
Odie, yeah. Odie. And this is fresh off him doing the voice for Mario and also not sounding like, hey, it's me, I'm Mario.
Right.
So there was this uproar. So they're like, okay, well, we'll just put him in another beloved character's specific sounding role. And I guess it doesn't matter anymore.
Okay, so I looked it up on IMDb, as in I am the movie database.
Uh-huh.
And there is, in fact, Garfield the movie came out in 2004.
Right.
So now it's Garfield the movie 2024?
I guess.
Like, it's weird. Yeah. So of all the things that you're going to make and remake, I don't know. Anyway.
Maybe just the fact that it's for children, and then, if 5 years goes by, then, it's a whole new crop of children.
I guess.
I don't know.
I'm more inclined to see that movie Inside Out, which is like the emotions.
Oh,
and
yeah. The sequel just came out.
Yeah, they've got a new one of those out. And that makes sense. I'm like, okay, that can grow with your kid. And now they've introduced like anxiety and like,
Do you think it's possible that I'm channeling white hot rage towards this? Because of other things happening in the world? And this somehow feels like one tiny thing that I can gripe about. Something.
I mean,
I don't know.
maybe it's because it's also the 19th is also Juneteenth, and maybe you're so upset that it took so long for that to happen that you're like, you know what? I'm just gonna get mad about Garfield.
That's valid.
Like, this is ridiculous,
right?
It's
and still no Heathcliff movie.
Heathcliff.
You know Heathcliff, right?
Yes. I'm like, I wonder how that would be.
Well, the weird thing about Heathcliff is that I think they're on like the second or third generation from the guy, the cartoonist that created it.
Yeah.
So it's like his son or his grandson is now doing the comic strip. And they're really weird now. They're like nothing to do with the original like Heathcliff stuff. Like if you look up like an old Heathcliff, it's like him with like a fishbone in a garbage can howling at the moon or whatever. And now it's like some weird tone poem that doesn't seem to have any kind of basis in reality or funny. It still features the tabby cat Heathcliff. But it's wild.
I have not seen.
Maybe that's why he doesn't have a movie.
Maybe I haven't seen the comics page. Okay, let's just go back to I haven't seen a newspaper in forever. Actually,
Same.
it's been so long; it's 5 ever. And then the comics. Like, I mean, I remember. Well, okay, I can't say that I remember the Sunday comics because my dad got the New York Times, and there was no Sunday comics. But in theory, like the comic page was like a fun thing,
Right.
and
yeah.
so many different like High Low, Family Circle, like
God, I used
Far
to hate the
Side.
Family Circle.
Oh, now see, I mean, I agree, it's a little like saccharine, but
Right.
I mean, and like Peanuts would come out, and what's the one with the Viking?
Oh, Hagar the Horrible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
him. Like there were so many.
Still no Hagar movie.
Right?
It's just weird that there's, like 5 Heathcliff movies now. It's getting rebooted every 3 years.
Of all
and yet we've never had movies for Heathcliff, Hagar the Horrible.
You know what it is? It's those cartoonists are like, no, because you're going to make a bad movie.
Beetle Bailey ever get a movie?
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Like, they're like, no, you're not going to do a cruddy movie about my character. I do like the cartoon Pearls Before Swine. I don't know if that one is still.
I think that's still going. I want to say last time I visited my grandparents, I saw
and Pearls Before
Sunday
Swine
paper, and I think that was in there.
I have a few of them, and I used to read them out loud to my kids, and I used to give all the characters voices, and it was kind of fun. Okay, well, so also celebrate Juneteenth. Try not to get into that white hot rage that Eric is feeling on the 19th about Garfield the Cat Day. It is also World Sauntering Day. So maybe if you do get into a white hot rage, maybe just go for a nice saunter. Yeah.
Or a vigorous constitutional, if you will.
Okay. A vigorous constitutional. I like that.
I think Sideshow Bob from The Simpsons described it that way at one point, and it's stuck in my head.
Yeah, that's fair. It also seems like something that I would have read from like a period bodice ripper.
Oh, okay.
Like, let's go for a walk. And then, like, they end up under the hedge. And she went in a young virgin and she came out betrothed because, things had gotten a little handsy. Yep.
If you like that kind of thing, that reminds me of a TV show that I've been binging recently. It's called Whitechapel. Have you watched this?
I have not.
There's only 4 seasons, I think.
Okay.
Maybe 5. But they're real short seasons. Like the first 2 are like 3 episodes each.
Oh, okay.
And then after that, it's like 6 episodes each season. And the premise of this is it's a modern day police department in Whitechapel in London, right?
Okay.
But the crimes that they end up solving are like copycat killers trying to recreate like Jack the Ripper or the Krays murders. And so it's like they like tie like the present day to the past and the locations.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's a really fun show. Some of the makeup's just a little too good though. You're kind of like, ooh, that's grim.
Yeah, interesting.
But if you like history, if you like crime drama, I'd recommend checking it out.
All right. Well, I was referring to, of course, romance novels, but
the Ripper part made me think.
bodice ripper. Bodice ripper. Like, woo! Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
it's a ripper as is you're ripping through the pages.
Right. Yes.
Yes. I hear the word bodice and the word ripper, and I automatically go to Jack the Ripper.
Well, see, there you go again, Anglophile. Just saying. Birthdays. Speaking of mysteries, Dorothy Sayers' birthday is today. Happy birthday, Dorothy Sayers, who was born in 1893. I don't think you're with us to celebrate it, but Malcolm McDowell, isn't he the actor that was in A Clockwork Orange?
No, I think that is somebody else. Why can I not remember his name? But yeah.
Okay.
I'll confirm on that.
Mary-Kate and Ashley, happy birthday. Okay, they were born in 1986. And they're still like...
Oh, no, you were right. Malcolm McDowell is from Clockwork Orange.
Yes.
Okay, I was thinking of somebody else for some reason.
Look at that. I'm right for once. So Mary-Kate and Ashley, twins, actresses, and fashion designers, and enigmas, really. And then, this makes sense why it's Alzheimer's Awareness Month. I forgot. Because it is June 14th is the birthday of Alois. I don't know how to say it. Alzheimer. Interesting. Burl Ives. Who could forget Burl Ives?
Right.
Like the voice of Christmas cartoons. We're not going to mention that one. Boy George. We'll mention that one.
Yes. Still going strong.
Yeah, right? And like looking good. Any other that you want to call out? I think it's depressing that they have down Jim Belushi, actor, brother of John Belushi. I'm like, can't he be his own man?
Right. And Roger Ebert and Paul McCartney share a birthday on June 18th, along with Carol Kane, great actress. So happy birthday to all those folks.
Yeah.
And, let's praise upon their name, the ones that have passed. I don't know what to say. Rest in peace, I guess.
Rest in peace.
Yes.
Right, exactly.
Rest in power, I think, as the kids say these days.
Oh, well, all right, there you go. All right, and wait, don't forget, it's also Paula Yabba-Dabba-Dool's birthday on the 19th.
I don't know what that is, but I'll find out during the break, and we'll come back and we'll get into our main topic.
Excellent. All right, keep listening.
Stay tuned. Have you ever considered working with an image consultant or stylist, but were worried about what the experience would be like? If that sounds like you, then Michael Bruce Image Consulting is here to help. They've worked with thousands of people, and many of those individuals have shared their experiences by way of style stories. Go to michaelbruceimageconsulting.com/style stories and check out what their delighted clients have to say about their experiences.
Don't ask me to talk. We're back, and you're listening to Don't Ask Me to Talk, and that, of course, makes us want to talk more. I'm Stacey Heller.
I'm Eric Ryder.
All right, so what are we talking about now?
Well, last week, the Wheel o' Topics randomly chose conspiracy theories, and I'm going to assume that it was random. And no one was pulling the strings behind the scenes.
Oh, I see. You're looking for a conspiracy theory.
Well, it's entirely possible.
You never know.
Somebody at the Wheel of Topics Industries
it's not like Acme.
Trying to get us to talk about this particular topic. Because they want us to, bust some, I don't know. I can't even come up with the reason why that would happen, but...
Hey,
anything's possible.
I mean, we're all just pawns in this game of life, right?
That's right.
Which I guess could be a conspiracy theory. So, conspiracy theories. So, basically, conspiracy theories, it's like, if you think about like JFK, or you think about like the Illuminati, or what happened to Amelia Earhart's plane and all these things. So it's these theories that people have. And
well, I was talking about Jack the Ripper a little earlier, because talking about the show Whitechapel.
Yep.
And boy, they say that was the the birth of the serial killer. He was the first. And I don't know if that's true or not, because they're maybe the first recorded one.
First of repute.
The first one that
recording.
People paid attention to. Right. Yeah, because it was so gruesome. But so many conspiracies around him because they never found out who he was. Assuming it's a he. But they never found out who Jack the Ripper actually was. And so there's tons of theories on who he could be, and also theories on whether there was conspiracies leading to these particular victims, which is fascinating too. but there's scant evidence besides people like putting stuff together in their heads,
Right.
to make a compelling story for, these being the actual reasons for Jack the Ripper or his identity. And I think through the years, we've kind of seen the same thing with pretty much every
All of them.
conspiracy theory. Yeah.
Well, I mean, by definition, it's like, it's events that like have happened, right? And then there's like a small sect of people that are like, I don't think that's what happened.
Right.
And, they're not necessarily using like fact or
Evidence.
history or evidence or anything like that, but they're like, oh, definitely like this happened. And what's interesting is that, like they can tell a whole story with all kinds of random things where it's like, you're like, well, maybe, like, is that the case? And so
some of these people make, compelling arguments on the face of it if you just listen, and then don't go fact check
right.
what they're saying. So that's the thing. When you hear something that seems like compelling, but completely goes against, like the information that we have, you got to do the actual research, because chances are somebody's gone through and debunked every single point that the proprietor of the conspiracy theory is making.
Well, and I think I mentioned when we picked this topic last week that there was a movie, and I think it was Jodie Foster and Mel Gibson in this movie. And what's interesting is when I looked this up, it talked about how psychologists, there's like a personality type that would be into conspiracy theories and stuff, whether it's like, they're a little on the border, like they may be dealing with some like schizophrenia or narcissism or paranoia or any of these things. And they're more susceptible to believe these things, which makes sense, right? But there's some really interesting ones. I mean, there's like, I mentioned, obviously, like the JFK thing. And, that just feels unsolved. Like, I don't know that it's a conspiracy theory or if it's, I mean, I don't know.
Well, it definitely is a conspiracy theory.
Well,
because,
it is.
Yeah. I mean, because we have the evidence on what happened, but people dispute whether
the second gunman on the grassy knoll.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And so, I mean, I don't know if we'll ever have an answer that satisfies people, because there's so much talk about it. And of course, the movie didn't help, because that was, full of wild theories and accusations and stuff.
Yep.
Oliver Stone. And, once you see it like there on the big screen, it almost feels like it's fact, regardless of the fact that it has nothing to do with reality.
No,
and
totally not.
And I mean, and Oliver Stone is well known for doing this. It doesn't matter if it's based on a true story. His interpretation of stuff is often wildly inaccurate.
It's like the author that did the book, The Girl with the Pearl Earring, who created a whole story around the famous painting.
Yeah.
It's like Oliver Stone does the same thing.
Fan fiction, if you will. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of an interesting thing. Now, I went to Wikipedia and I looked up conspiracy theories, 100%. I didn't know that there was
now.
Well, right.
Be careful what you search next.
Well, right. I didn't know that there was a conspiracy theory about New Coke.
Oh, okay. I think let me guess if my thought on what the New Coke conspiracy would be. So the official line is they felt like they were losing out to Pepsi customers, so they decided to try and tweak the recipe of Coke to make it taste a little more like Pepsi and, therefore, in theory, appeal to more people, even though Coke was always more popular. And it was a huge failure because people that are Coke fans love the taste of Coke as it is.
Right.
And so because of the overwhelming outcry, they changed the recipe back and came out with Coke Classic and got rid of New Coke altogether. Now, my guess on the conspiracy theory is that they very smartly came up with this to get Coke fans to stand up for their brand and remind them that this is the original flavor is what they loved, and it took them changing the formula, and all that, just doing that got them tons of media and free advertising with news coverage and stuff that they wouldn't have got. And so those guys were not blunderers. They were actually brilliant marketers. Am I close on this at all?
Actually, very close. So it's the theory claims that the Coca-Cola company intentionally changed to a lesser formula with New Coke, with the intent being either to drive up demand.
And by the way, I tried New Coke when it came out, and I liked it. I thought it was much better than Coke Classic.
Well, there you go, see? So with the intent to either drive up the demand, or it then allowed them to reintroduce the original with a new formula using cheaper ingredients. Now, in this Wikipedia, which obviously means it's true, the then president said, the truth is we're not that dumb and we're not that smart. So who knows? Again, like, you know, you're going to really say something. But I was like, wow, I didn't know like that was, I didn't pay attention.
Right.
But I do remember that it was like a big thing.
But it just goes to show there's conspiracies about pretty much anything.
Well, totally.
Yeah.
And big time around prominent figures. Like, you know, Marilyn Monroe.
Right.
Right? You know, big time. Abraham Lincoln. Like Notorious B.I.G.
Yes.
Like anytime a prominent figure
Yeah.
dies, it's like, no, that can't be.
Right.
Um,
It's either it can't have happened how they say it happened, or they didn't actually die. They're in the desert somewhere waiting to make their comeback.
right. Well, like
Elvis. Yes. That was when I was a kid and when you were a kid. That was a big one, that Elvis was still alive and he was going to come back. And even there was even an artist that made a whole career out of pretending to be Elvis. He called himself Orion. And he didn't really look like Elvis that much, but he put on a mask, basically like a Mardi Gras kind of mask. And he sounded exactly like Elvis.
Interesting.
And so they put out like several successful albums under the name Orion and played up the idea that this was actually Elvis.
I didn't know this.
Yeah. There's a whole
Oh my
movie about it
gosh.
called The Man Who Would Be King, which is
Interesting.
fascinating. Yeah. So in a way, there was a conspiracy there to dupe the public, but they never said that it was Elvis. They just made him dress in the jumpsuit and sing like him.
Right.
And it's fascinating. So there are times where savvy marketers can take
Yeah.
advantage of, conspiracies to make a buck.
Speaking of singers, remember the whole conspiracy theory about Paul McCartney?
Yeah, that was another one that was like really confusing.
Like it was like, oh, because he was barefoot when they were crossing
Right.
the street and whatever. There was a whole Paul is dead thing.
Yes, yeah.
And he was supposedly replaced by some guy, William Shears,
Yeah.
which the Beatles then reference, like when they're like, let me introduce to you the one and only Billy Shears. They even reference him.
So they also took advantage of the conspiracy theory to get more publicity. Very smart.
Right? Yeah. So there's some very, very interesting ones, like the Freemasonry, Illuminati, like they're entertaining.
Yes.
That's what I'll say. At the end of the day, what I'll say about conspiracy theories is they're entertaining.
Yeah. And I wonder, have there been conspiracy theories that have been proven correct? We got to take a break, but when we come back, we can dive into that a little bit.
Do Do you get in your own way when it comes to your business? Look, we all get in our own heads sometimes. Maybe you need a new perspective. I'm a creative who connects people with ideas, potential, and most importantly, their people. Whether through my consulting sessions or content creation and design, I help clients get out of their heads and back to business. My client Pete Connolly sums it up best when he said, "I can't think of another professional who brings as wide an offering of insights and resources with as much humor and heart as Stacey does." Connect with me, Stacey Heller, at staceyconnects.com. Don't ask me to talk.
And we're back here on Don't Ask Me to Talk. I'm Eric Ryder.
I'm Stacey Heller.
And conspiracies.
So there's so many that we talked about that people will it to be true,
Right,
and,
without evidence.
Right. But then there's a few. We did a little bit of a dive, as you said, into conspiracy theories that turned out to be true.
Yeah. And, the funny thing is with a lot of these, it seemed like maybe in the, because they're historical, maybe at the time they were, widely discussed conspiracy theories and people said, no, you're crazy, or, oh, maybe there's something to that. But now it just seems like
a cover up.
Well, no, I mean, it seems like if there was a cover-up, that's long dead and gone, so it doesn't seem like a conspiracy, so to speak. It
just
seems like, facts, that we have now.
Right. Well, and that's the interesting thing is, conspiracy theories are ultimately, it's about it being a cover-up of some story, right?
Yeah.
And then, enough time passes and the, between the Freedom of Information Act and, truths being told.
Right.
It's okay, so what really happened?
Yeah, and I think what we've seen over and over again is that there is government cover-up, sometimes for good reasons, sometimes for not good reasons. But it seems like, in my estimation, that most of the time it is not what people have imagined with the conspiracy theory. It's something either more benign or something far weirder or, entirely different.
Right, because truth is stranger than fiction.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what's one of the ones from this article that surprised you or you didn't know or...
that turned out to be true.
Yeah.
Well, the conspiracy: during Prohibition, the government poisoned alcohol to keep people from drinking. I had no idea of this. This is weird stuff. But when you look at the truth, that crazy conspiracy theories almost always suggest the government is behind it all. And in this case, they were right. Manufacturers of industrial alcohol had been mixing their product with dangerous chemicals for years prior to Prohibition. But between 1926 and 1933, the federal government pushed manufacturers to use stronger poisons to discourage bootleggers from turning the alcohol into moonshine. That didn't stop the bootleggers or their customers, and by the end of Prohibition, more than 10,000 Americans had been killed by tainted booze.
There's a few things to unpack here.
Right.
One, manufacturers were mixing their product with dangerous chemicals?
Well, they still do that because they don't want people to drink rubbing alcohol, for instance, because anybody could buy that. It's just like stuff that is used for medicinal stuff and topical stuff.
Okay.
They don't want you mixing that into your cocktails.
True. The cheapest gin and tonic ever.
Yeah, and so when alcohol was illegal, period, to drink, they were still making, medicinal alcohols and stuff. So they would, mix in stuff to keep people from drinking it. But of course, this backfires because bootleggers are completely unscrupulous, and the people that are dying to get their hands on that alcohol, that bathtub gin, they didn't really care about health. So yeah.
Now in our house, I did the opposite. In order to ensnare underage drinking, I filled I put our vodka in the freezer because it doesn't freeze. And then if the kids who didn't know that, and I never said anything to them, tried to replace the vodka with water, it would freeze, and I'd know that they had dipped into the vodka. So that was my way of controlling that. I didn't add bad alcohol.
One person conspiracy.
Totally. Okay, so the one that I didn't know about was the one about President Wilson, Woodrow Wilson.
Right.
So, first of all, I admit, like early presidents, I didn't really pay a ton of attention, but apparently he
was president from 1913 to 1921.
Yep.
So early, maybe mid, I would think.
Yeah. So he had a stroke, I guess, in like the last year of his reign,
right,
if you will. And it says that the government felt it was in the country's best interest to keep things quiet. Let's just keep it under the radar. And so they didn't tell the public for months about it, during which time his wife, Edith, effectively was the president.
Yeah, instead of the vice president, which is wild.
Right.
Yeah.
And,
I wonder if the thinking at the time was, oh, he's going to recover from this in a few days, and then it just kind of dragged on and, things were running smoothly, so they didn't, go for the VP, or did the VP go, hey, I don't want this on me.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess she said that she acted as a steward, which, if they were close and actually had like ideas and ideals and whatever, then maybe that makes sense. But I'm like, who knew? Like,
right.
I mentioned like everybody knew about Eleanor Roosevelt, right? Like, and the fact that there's always been talk about the fact that FDR and like her being behind him and doing a lot of things, but I didn't know about Edith.
Yeah.
Way to go, Edith.
And what's the deal with Tom Marshall, the VP at the time, that he didn't step in?
Who knows? Maybe they didn't trust him.
Yeah.
Okay, another government one was the John Lennon being under government surveillance.
Right. Yeah, I think there was at least rumors of this at the time. Mind you, I wasn't born, when he was still alive, was pretty young. So most of this stuff, it just kind of existed in the ether, kind of like Elvis is still alive kind of thing.
Right.
But then, yeah, as it turns out, a lot of stuff that the FBI was surveilling private citizens like Lennon turned out to be true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a rabble rouser trying to being against then President Nixon, I think, and, promoting peace and saying negative things. And, I think Lennon famously said, we're bigger than Jesus. And so they probably were like, they're kind of bigger than Jesus. And
right.
People might actually listen to him instead of listening to us.
Yeah, Hoover's FBI definitely overstepped the line on a lot of things.
100%. Probably the biggest one is about big tobacco, of course, and tobacco causing cancer.
Right. Yeah. They knew about it causing cancer, and they buried the evidence.
Yeah. Speaking of burying, okay, you have to bring up the totally random one that I didn't know about, and that you're like, oh, I watched a documentary on this. The E.T.
Oh, yeah.
The aliens being found in the, what was it? Like
in New Mexico.
New Mexico?
Or in the Southwest. Yeah. E.T. is buried in the desert of New Mexico. Of course, there's the whole Roswell theory of alien landings there. But the truth is, there is evidence of E.T. being buried in the American Southwest. And in fact, it's the Atari video game E.T. that was a huge flop in the 80s. And I actually had a copy of E.T.
Really?
And played this as a kid. Wasn't a great game, but I was happy for any video game at that time. But yeah, it failed so miserably, the company buried unsold cartridges in a desert landfill. And there's actually a documentary about this called Atari Game Over. And it, actually gives the coordinates for where the ET cartridges were buried in the title. I'm not going to go through that, but yeah, it's kind of an interesting documentary. Luckily, it's only about 66 minutes, but at the end of it, they do find the cartridges and they dig it up. And then I think, okay, great. What now? I mean,
right. Now just put it back in the landfill.
Dug up a bunch of garbage.
Right.
And now you're going to find a new place to put this garbage. But
I mean, if they
I'm
were
sure
in
there's collectors.
if they were in
it, yeah.
right, if they were in good condition, still in their packaging, maybe they could still be played by.
There's still a few consoles out there that people can plug it in and be disappointed with, and throw it away.
Right, because now people have a lot more to play with than we did back in the day.
That's true. Way better graphics.
Interesting. Such an interesting topic. Such a weird topic. If anybody out there has a conspiracy theory that they want to share with us,
especially when they turned out to be true,
right? Like Bat Squatch. I've talked about Bat Squatch before.
Right.
I'm just saying.
But we haven't seen any evidence of Bat Squatch.
I did.
But sure. But
anyway, all right.
Could have been something else.
That it could have been.
Yes.
Anyway. All right. Hey, what are we talking about next week?
Let's find out. And no, this isn't rigged, in case that was anybody's conspiracy. And this is another one where I feel we need a bigger wheel because the topic always gets cut off. So it's interesting here. Art or history Mew?
Oh, I see. Having been the one that entered these in, would you rather go to an art museum or a history museum?
Oh, okay. Yeah. For some reason, I was thinking of the Justified Ancients of Mumu, also known as the KLF. And
there you go.
So History Mew would be like the history of the jams, I guess, which was one of their records. But yeah, would I rather go to an art museum or a history museum? Yeah, I'll have to think about that.
Right? So I thought that would be sort of an interesting thing. I mean, they sort of overlap, but, I'm thinking Museum of Natural History and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, all right.
It's going to be fun.
It's always fun with you, Eric.
And always fun with you, Stacey.
Thank you. Thanks for listening, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this episode of Don't Ask Me to Talk.
Tell your friends.